Can you smell the race week? Can you smell the brakes? Can you smell the rubber? Can you hear the engines roar? We are back in another race week, and we are in Singapore, where I have forecasted that if there is a track for Lewis Hamilton to get a win, I have forecasted it would be Singapore. Some of you have said Japan. Others have said Coda. We will see where that will be, if it will even indeed be. And we're talking about this because Lewis Hamilton does not go a season without at least one race win. And if it does happen, it does happen. He's had a long stretch. Congratulations to him. Hey, things happen. Doesn't mean next season is not another season. Right now, it seems to be that Max Verstappen is the one, the talk of the town, with the fact that if things happen to arrange themselves in some kind of funny order, Max himself could finish the championship early. And before we get into these updates, let's talk about that. I think they said if Perez finishes fourth, Charles Leclerc finishes anywhere later or further back than eighth, Max wins the championship in this race in Singapore. And also, people have said that sucks for the rest of the seasons for us. I'm not too sure I agree with that. It doesn't suck for me because I'm still going to watch racing. I still want to see these teams develop. I still want to see if teams are going to pick up the pace, if teams are going to be looking good going into the testing season, off season anyway, and see what I may be able to forecast for other teams coming out in 2023. It doesn't suck for me, but there is something to be said about Sergio Perez finishing fourth. Is this going to be a situation where, and look out for this, that we see Perez fall later than fourth or fifth to give Max the early championship win in Singapore? Now, of course, we're going to say, why would they do that? Why does anybody do anything when they're already on top? Have we not seen people do bad things to stay on top because they want to be on top? People, stop with the shenanigans. But let's get into this because we don't have a lot of updates. Not a lot of teams that have done like big updates. McLaren coming with another big package, though, in my eyes. Okay. But as far as like a long list that we've had plenty of times before, we don't really have that. Okay, so Red Bull's not up here, but pretty much they've modified some things on their fences. Red Bull has put themselves in a grand spot with hiring a lot of Mercedes personnel and engineering team and Adrian Newey himself. So they've done good by recruiting and stealing away and Adrian Newey himself. I mean, hell, he was there when ground effects first kicked in, and I mean, he's got a lot of knowledge. But they've readjusted some things with floor fences. You know what to do about that. Let's look at McLaren. One of the teams I said I expected them to do a lot better than they have done this season. I've been a little disappointed. I'm really hoping they come back. I'm really hoping they show a nice amount of pace with these new side pods, the floor. I mean, this is a pretty nice size package, and I'm not calling them upgrades anymore. They're updates. If it's an upgrade, they have to do something better than they've been doing. But right now, it's just a change. It's just an update. So we'll see how those things go, but definitely changing the side pods. Visually obvious change has been brought there. The bodywork and front brake cooling areas well too. Now, also keep in mind, all these areas will not indicate exactly where changes are. Just put you somewhere in the ballpark. Also, fences reprofiled, floor reprofiled to get that airflow in there. The diffuser done. So they're doing a lot to try to manage. This year, you've seen a lot of things done with the beam wing, the floors, the fences, the side pods, trying to find out where these cars have a sweet spot to sit aerodynamically and not to be porpoising, but also to get good downforce so they can get everything they need in a wide amount of tracks, where Red Bull has been very good at doing that. Ferrari would have been very good at doing that aside from all of their other blunders, okay? So those are the things. Then we come down to Aston Martin, and Matt have introduced a different detail to their floor edge for their vertices. I mean, you know, that's cool. Danny, the beam wing. I like the rear profile of the Aston Martin, but there's something that we see on the Aston Martin. What is that? We see the rear wing that will be illegal next season. They will not be able to run this rear wing. Very innovative and able to get a in-plate-like wing without breaking the regulations. But now they have looked at this, and remember I said it, don't be surprised if the design comes up and it is indeed going to be found illegal. We will see how well this wing performs today during qualifying. So don't forget to join us today during qualifying. Later on, I will be live for that. We're going to have a good time, chop it up in the chat, debate, talk shit, all of that good stuff. So be there for that. But yes, this will probably be the final season you see this rear wing configuration. They will run it till for the remainder of the season. Other teams, if they're going to copy it, they're going to have to copy it now because in 2023 it's going to be no more. It's out of there, guaranteed. Alpine definitely has done things to their floor to affect everything else. Like I said, teams are coming in with these floors and adjusting these floors and these fences and the edge areas, trying their best to get the most performance they can out of this new regulation car. This has been a focus like since the beginning. Like I said, beam wings, the floors, the fences, the side pods, even little elements and bits here and there on the mirrors and all that stuff. So airflow is very important all the time, and definitely more so this season, given that we had so many of the suspension components removed from being used, like J dampeners and all these other things. They're trying to manipulate and find a way to get this air to cooperate with the car. Thus for AlphaTauri coming out with a front new wing. Definitely you can see that nose to the left, very kind of platypus-like. This one a little bit more rounded out, a little bit more flush going across. Is not so much of like pant down in there. So that's something that they're going to be running along with other things that they have done. But this is something that they really focused on with their front wing. And here, thank you, the race. We got a picture that's kind of comparing the new to old. And it seems like pretty much they're a little bit behind when it comes to this because Mercedes had already attacked this early on in the season. But yeah, that's it for those. All right, that's it for the updates. Updates aren't very plentiful as they have been. I think coming down to this last part of the season, teams are like, they're going to do things, but they're not finna sit here and do gobs and gobs and gobs of things. So let's get on to a couple other topics. Also, here is the new podium bottle for Singapore. That thing is a beaut. That is a beaut. Members decided on this. Members picked this. And yes, if you are a member, you contributed on that during the vote. If you're not a member, you need to consider joining the family. Join the family. I mean, it's less than $5. It's $4.99 for a month. We do other things. We go into the Zoom meets. We have calls. I'll let you have access to the guests. We're doing good things. Like right now, we're running pretty much a good foundation and supporting a young Carter and Joshua Bigambi. That will start tomorrow at Finale Lap. Every Finale Lap race going forward, those proceeds will go to try to help him in his 2023 season, as he won the championship in 2022 for Super One. So big shout out to him. We're trying to help push him, and we're going to pick other things to go forward. Like this year, or this remainder of the season is Joshua. Next season, we might pick a few other races where those proceeds will go to some other young Carter. Or, and I'm really looking for a female Carter to support. So we're trying to mix it up here. And of course, don't forget, we will do our community things earlier in the season, like we did this time, back to school backpacks. We ended up with 68 back to school backpacks for kids who did not have the means to get those new things. We got those for them. The Wolfpack family did that, not just me. We did. And we're going to find something along those lines to also do next season. Okay, so we'll do the first half, then we'll do the second half. We'll break it up. We'll see how we're going to run it. All right. So let's get into this. PUs. All right. PUs. We will cut these upgrades off. So PUs right now, like we're not even worried about 3. 3, we know you're on the line. We know you're on the line. Okay. So do not forget about that. Do not forget ICEs. ICEs is 3, MGUH, MGUK is 3, which the MGUH will be gone by 2026. I believe that's still going to be 2026. MGUH is going to be out of there. TCs is 3, ERS is 2, CEs 2, and exhaust is 8. You get plenty of those to use up. But we're worried about teams that are definitely over and beyond. Right now, Lewis Hamilton is over by 1, at least in some of those major categories. Max Verstappen is over by 1 or more in some of these major categories. As we come down, Sergio Perez, kind of on the line, just over in one of those. We look at Charles and Carlos. They are definitely over the line, and they're going to be catching penalties. If anything else continues to go wrong, they will be finding themselves to the back of the grid. And right now, at this point in time, is that unlikely that this may happen tomorrow? We might find out that Ferrari has to change something, and then boom, there goes that 8th or later spot for Charles. And then now we're just looking at Sergio Perez, and does Red Bull give team orders? We don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Lando is definitely over by 1 or more. Then we have the Alpine team, both over by 1 or more. Then that section in those major categories, AlphaTauri is definitely over. All right, right there. Then we have Aston and Williams, and definitely kind of floating right there on the line as of right now. They've been the team that have been a little bit conservative. And then we will come down to Alfa Romeo, and as you see, definitely Bottas is hella over. He's so over, it is ridiculous. He can fart wrong in the car right now, and he's probably going to start at the back of the grid. And then we have Haas definitely over, and we know Mick Schumacher is definitely open as RNC. So yeah, those teams are looking at getting some more grid penalties going forward, and don't be surprised if you see another race where we have a plethora of anywhere between 4 and 6 or maybe even 5 and 7 drivers that will be taking penalties depending on what happens going forward. Also, that brings us to something else we'll talk about in a little bit, but let's get on Albon. Albon, congratulations, sir, returning, being a fighter to get back into this car, having surgery, his appendicitis, and although there's a silver lining in gray clouds, and the silver lining in the gray cloud of Albon, although I'm very thankful that his health did not put him in a high risk situation, that he would not have been able to return. He's returned. I'm glad he returned. I'm glad he's healthy because Williams is going to need him. Because while Albon was gone in his absence, Nick DeVries set in and put a Williams car on point. And I was a little bit disrespected today when I heard a commentator talking about the possibilities of Albon like missing and Nick being in there, and maybe that. No, you don't even need to talk about that substitution anymore. That substitution happened and it's over. If anybody needs to get the hell out, it is Nicholas Latifi. He is out of there. 2022, they're canceling his contract. He's going to be gone. Finally, Williams is looking like they're going to try to make moves to be competitive on the grid with Albon. And if Nick comes there, that will be a competitive pair. I think that'll be better for them. At least it shows Williams trying to get back to those high ceilings that they have fallen from so far. Like I said before when I did the Williams video, if there was ever a time an angel could return to heaven fallen, is it the Williams team? They were once great. Can they be great again? I don't know. We will see. And other things developing. And we're going to talk about all this stuff in the midst of between Q1, Q2, Q3. We're going to be talking about some of this stuff. This stuff you see right here. People acting like they don't got no pockets. They just got deep pockets down to their socks. Red Bull, possibly, I say possibly, don't get mad, you haters. Don't try to say it's a conspiracy theory, you haters. ESPN says it right here. There's speculation that Aston Martin and Red Bull overspent. And if that is the case, there are penalties that need to be paid. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So, hey, I'm excited. It's race week. I don't know if we're going to pop this bottle, but we do. I do know one thing. Regardless if I pop this bottle or not, regardless if your team or my team or your favorite driver or my favorite driver wins or not, something great is happening on race Sunday. And you know what that is? French damn toast. I get to have my French toast back on Sunday. I'm so excited about it. I'm so ready for it. So don't miss it. We are going to be live here shortly for qualifying. Come back, join us, set your reminder so you don't miss it. Also, right after qualifying, I will post the link for the finale lap, which is the post-race highlight event. You also don't want to miss that. It gets real spicy in there. You never know how I'm going to be feeling, Froggy. I might jump, punch you, and sock you left, right. Good night. All right, so keep that in mind. I will see you all soon. Just build it. Peace. Thanks for watching another episode of Wolfpack Performance. Don't forget to check out some of my other content on Formula One and motorsports topics. Like, share, subscribe, and we go live on the weekends. See you soon.